Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I, the pure consciousness, I, the pure consciousness, or self-awareness, would manifest only the words of truth and the words of wisdom through his mind and his body, or through this mind and this body. I, the pure consciousness, would manifest the words of truth and wisdom through this mind and through this body. I, the pure consciousness, would always speak the words of truth and the words of wisdom. Otherwise, I, the pure consciousness, would remain silent. Remaining silent is the fundamental state of consciousness, where there is just silence and the sense of being self-aware. And then blessings be on the listener, the one herself or himself. Gender has never been important in anything. The one herself or himself, the one who has uncluttered and has become receptive to the words of truth and to the words of wisdom. Blessings. Om Shanti Shanti and Shanti. Somebody reached me a couple of days back through YouTube, since I have started now my own channel not long ago. Somebody reached me through YouTube, and the person asked that what they are seeing is basically there is something for everybody. Meaning the person is saying in my videos or on that particular channel, when I deliver a message or I put a video up, basically they are saying that there is something for everybody over there, which I'm glad to find out. And then they are saying the aspect of meditation is important during the dedication. They have been doing yoga for quite a while now. They are not new to this field. The person who asked elaborated herself in detail when they messaged me through the email. They said that they have been doing yoga, but the physical, mostly the physical aspect of yoga, they have been doing for quite a while now. So that's a good thing, because they are ground to receive the truth and they are more receptive. It does not matter that they are doing the yoga, the physical aspect of yoga, what we understand as Hatha yoga. They mostly have been doing that. But even then, it brings quite a bit of clarity, and then your ground becomes fertile to receive. You become more receptive. Your ground becomes more fertile to receive the words of truth and wisdom. So that's a great thing. That's number one, that they said they have been doing Hatha yoga. Number two, they want to know that how to sustain the focus during the spiritual aspect, which is meditation. How to sustain the focus during spiritual aspect, which is meditation. So we are going to look into it, as I always do. I look at it very clearly and very closely, and then I want your focus, talking about focus, see, talking about focus, so I want your focus intact here. Okay, we the beings, I wouldn't even go that far to call us human beings, because again, remember, not long ago I mentioned in one of the messages that human is a human construct. The word human is a human construct. So I wouldn't even go that far to call it as a human being, because I am a mystic and I look at everything through a mystic approach. And I know for a fact that it's a human construct. It was handed, any word has no meanings in reality, because all the words are human constructs. They have handed to us through other humans. It's not coming from an authentic source. The source of human is not authentic. It's not coming from sacred. Anyway, so I would call that most of us beings have gone through tremendous amount of conditioning and tremendous amount of domestication. Domestication is what my mentor Don Miguel Ruiz call it. That domestication is the same thing. Domestication, or if you want to call it conditioning, is the same thing. All the humans have gone, all the beings have gone through the conditioning and the domestication, and they have learned, unfortunately through lies, that they need to sustain something all the time. You understand what I'm saying? They have learned the lies through domestication and conditioning that they have to sustain something at all times. They have to They have to sustain an image in the society. They have to sustain a role they are playing in the society. They have to sustain some kind of luxuries in the society. They have to sustain the image of themselves, what other thinks of themselves in the society. And then they want to sustain certain pleasures. They want to sustain certain egoistic ideas, and they want to sustain now focus in the meditation. So first we need to look why we, the humans, unfortunately want to sustain something all the time. Why is it necessary for us to sustain something all the time, even when we are alone? Remember, not long ago, only in the last message, I elaborated on something very similar. That even when we are alone, we want to sustain all this, which I mentioned not long ago. An image, sustain money, sustain a job, and sustain some type of pleasures, different type of pleasures, and now sustaining focus even in the meditation. Want to sustain something all the time. So why is it not possible for us to not sustain anything and just be? You see, it's very possible for us not to sustain anything, including focus, and just be. I want you to remember something, and you would find the answer to your inquiry. I'm sure you would watch the video and you would find the answer of your inquiry, that what I want you to remember. The real meditation, what you understand, the meditation, unfortunately, is a word which has been interpreted, and the connotation has become rapidly changed throughout the globe based on a culture or a society understanding. And even within a culture or society, the definition of meditation varies. Somebody was saying, somebody up north, when I was living up north, I met this woman and I offered her, because she always cried about her problems, which I didn't see as problems, but she thought they were. So I offered her meditation, and she was like, meditation does not work for me. You see? And right then and there, that is the evidence that the definition of meditation varies. The connotation of meditation varies from even individual to individual. But there is no certain way to prove what meditation is. But I want you to remember this through the perspective of a mystic and the other mystics. Meditation has never been about to focus on something. Please know that. Because the moment you have an intention that I want to focus on a certain thing, then the moment your mind would go restless and it would fly everywhere and it would not let you rest during the meditation. So I want you to remember something. The real meditation is when you don't focus on anything, because meditation is not about focusing on things. If you try to focus on something, you understand what I'm saying? If you try to focus on something, there is a friction now in your awareness. The moment you try to focus on something, now there is a friction in your awareness. You see? I'll give you an example. Take a tight rubber band. For example, I'm demonstrating as an example. If I take a rubber band and wrap it around my finger, I would become a little restless because the sensation of the rubber band I would feel on the finger at all times. Just like that. You understand what I'm saying? As soon as I wrap the rubber band around the finger, I would feel the sensation that there is a tightness on my finger now. Just like that, the moment you have the intention that you want to sustain something, there is now a friction in your awareness. So the best way to reach meditation is not to focus on anything. You are asking how to sustain the focus, and I'm telling you just the opposite, that there is no need to focus on anything in general. That's what real meditation is. When you do not focus on anything in general. What remains, pay attention please, follow me. When you do not focus on anything in particular during the meditation or your spiritual practice, as I am right now, I am still in a state of meditation. I am in a state of meditation, and I have been in a state of meditation for the last 3 hours. You see? And my focus remains everywhere. So what I'm saying, when you do not bring your focus or you do not zero in on something, what remains is focus. But this focus is different than focusing or zeroing in on something. This focus is different than zeroing in or zooming in. This focus is focus without any direction. This focus is focus without any subject or topic. What remains is the focus, but this focus has no boundary. Because now, the moment you try to focus on something, that has boundaries. Please understand that. It's what I'm saying it through general focus, which is pure awareness or consciousness. The moment, you understand what I'm saying? The moment you try to focus on something in particular, in a direction, it has boundaries. And you know it. You feel what I'm saying. I do not have to elaborate or clarify what I'm saying any further. It's a fact. However, if you do not zoom in or your focus remains without any direction, it is boundless. And that's what the pure awareness is, and the best state of meditation is when your focus is not in a particular direction, when your focus is not looking for a subject to focus on, when you basically defocus from everything. What remains is focus, but this focus is boundless, and that's the best state of meditation. You would achieve tremendous amount of results rapidly, very rapidly. So that's a technique. Try it. Now, I would go further. A person can only have that kind of focus, the focus without any direction or the focus without any subject, when the mind is quiet, relatively. Okay? When the mind is quiet, relatively, as I said. You understand? Now one can say how to silence or quiet the mind. Well, you cannot silence or quiet the mind, because thought is not what mind does. Thought is what mind is. I said that before. Just like the sun, shining is not what sun does. Shining is what sun is. You see? So when there is no thought, there is no mind. What remains is eternity. You see? When there is no thought, there is no memory, image, idea, or concepts. What remains is eternity. Please follow me. So, please know that the more quiet or at peace, at least, mind is, the more it is easier to defocus from things. You have control on certain things. The best time to perform yoga and meditation is when you start your day. I personally wake up sometime 5 o'clock in the morning and sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning. You see what I'm saying? And I look around and I see in the house if there is something which needs to be attended or requires my attention. And I look around, there is nothing, then I go in a super silent corner and I perform my yoga and meditation. Because now I have a relief that my mind is not going to wonder if something needs my attention, you see. And when I wake up in the morning, it's the time when mind is already quiet, you see, relatively at peace, because you just wake up. You have not accumulated the thoughts and the data during the day. Are you following what I'm saying to you? It's very important to pay attention. You have not accumulated the thoughts through or the data through your 5 senses. It's just the beginning of the day. That's the best time. So now the mind is relatively at peace. It's not running around. And even if you have thoughts, then you do not board on the thought. You do not go with the thought. You see, you stay where you are. Also, as I said, transformation in one's life is important, because I sometimes or half of the time, or I would say fairly usually, I don't have thoughts, because my mind, I have unbanned or disbanded myself from the unnecessary drama in my awareness. I don't judge or try not to judge as much as I can. I do not gossip. I do not focus or bring my awareness voluntarily on people to think about them and to figure them out. These are all nasty habits, useless nasty habits, in which unfortunately most of us are living. Useless. But not me. I kinda have transcended myself from all this. So mind is automatically at peace. No matter I'm sleeping or I'm awake, the mind is at peace because all this is not happening in my mind. That's one way to bring mind at peace. But that only happens when you have the awareness that these things are not normal. We do these things and we think it is normal. It is unfortunately a very small, narrow band to live in. The life is limitless. Enjoy the beauty of life and do not bring your awareness or your consciousness voluntarily on these small petty things, which has no meanings in reality. The segregation, the racism, the distinctions, the drama. Once you have the awareness, these things, your mind automatically would remain in peace without any out help. You would be totally at peace at all times. That's how you take unnecessary thoughts out from your awareness. And then what remains, totally you sit in the morning, first thing of the day, you sit attentively. I have mentioned that numerous times, and you perform your yoga, which is basic fundamental geometrical position is here of yoga. And you perform your meditation, which is not to board on any thought or not to go with the thought, but defocus from the thought. You see, you can defocus yourself from the thought. So what remains is focus, in general, focus without any direction. So now I have answered your inquiry, which is important. And it's important, it's a reminder. I do remember, however, talking about this last year too. But this is such a subject that no amount of words we can legitimately say are adequate or enough for this topic. It's such a crucial topic because most people cannot have peace during meditation. But I have told you the trick that how you sustain your focus by defocusing. Meditation is all about defocusing, not to focus on something. And I gave you the example, or I used the metaphor of the rubber band. Okay. So you know now that how to perform the Kriya Yoga and sustain focus when there remains no focus. Namaskaram.